So now let us look at the third programming construct that is known as iteration programming construct or a looping construct. And when we talk about iteration, iteration refers to the process of repeating coded instructions until a specific end result is achieved. And let me give an example of a simple program you may want to write. And let me just pick up my pen here to illustrate what I want to explain. So suppose you want to write a program that will enable a person walking across a street, and this person is looking for a certain house. So these are houses, and each of these houses have a number, a house number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now the person starts walking from here. And now you want this person to be guided using a program. And let's say the house the person is looking for is this one here, number 5. So now we want the program to enable this person to keep on moving as long as the house number where he is at is less than 5. So when the person comes here, the program will check, is house number equals 1? If no, meaning it is not true, the condition is not true. So we're going to say house number, let us quote n. If a house number is less than or equals 5, then you need to move on to the next house, meaning you add another step plus 1, or you add another number so that you are led to the next number. So when this person is here, this condition is going to be checked. So if he is at house number 1, meaning n now has the value of 1, is 1 less than 5? Well, that is true. So that means we increment. So 1 plus 1, 2. So the program takes him to come here. So now that means in n now we have 2. Is 2 less than 5? The same condition will be tested. Is 2 less than 5? Yes, it is true. So increment plus 1, so that 2 plus 1 takes the person to house number 3 here. Is 3 less than 5? Yeah, it is true. So move on to the next one, 4, because 3 plus 1 is 4. Is 4 less than or equals 5? Yeah, that is true. So increment, move to the next one. So is 5 less than or equals to 5? Of course it is true, but if we loop again, the condition won't hold true. So that means the program will terminate here, and it means the person has arrived now. This is how iteration works. It allows a block of statements to keep on executing, until a given condition achieves a certain result. And now there are 3 ways to write looping constructs. You can use what is known as the while loop, the do while loop, or the for loop. Let us see how we can write the while loop. Now the while loop has this syntax. This is the way you write it. You first state, you write this keyword while, then you specify the condition. So an example of a condition is what I'm giving is n less than or equals 5. That's a condition. If that condition holds true, then program flow control will come here and run these statements here. And this will keep on looping, meaning repeating, as long as the condition keeps holding true. If we are to represent this in form of a flow chart, this is what we have. So we are saying the program starts, a given condition is tested. If the answer is true, then this code block gets executed, and then there is an updation which takes place. It could be, from the example I gave, +1, meaning a new value is generated. Then the condition again is tested. If it holds true, this will keep on getting executed as long as the condition is holding true. But when the condition becomes false, this is the path that will be taken, okay, meaning the program terminates. Now let us take note of the following about the while loop. The loop iterates while the condition is true, yeah, and when the condition becomes false, the program control passes to the line immediately following the loop. Then there is a possibility of a while loop not getting executed. This is because when the condition is tested and the result is, when the result becomes false, the loop board will be skipped and the first statement after the while loop will be executed. Okay, so now let us see how we can execute this while loop, and I will write a program. In this program, we want this program to display numbers from 1 to whatever number we specify. We want to enter a number in a variable n. So if I say I want to display 10 numbers on the computer screen, I'll enter 10 in this variable, and then we want the program to display all the numbers from 1 to 10, or from 1 to the number that I will specify in the variable n. And this is how the program will look like. I will use two variables, the variable n and the variable I. Okay, I will help us to count and, you know, to loop to the next number. So we'll first indicate to the user using this enter n, meaning the user will have to enter a number in n. Then this of course prompts the user to enter the number in the variable n. Then this is followed by the statement while I, the number in I, and what did we what did we put in the variable I? We initialized it with 1, meaning while the number in I is less than the maximum number we entered, the following should be achieved. We should be outputting I, and the value of I should be getting incremented +1. Here what you are seeing, this is the same as writing it like this. This is the same as writing it like this. Okay, so here you are saying the value in I should be updated with the value which was in I +1. So if we had initialized it with the value 1, here it means 1, the value which is in I is 1 + 1, meaning the next number to be displayed after the initial one we indicated 1, it will be 2, because 1 + 1 = 2. So in the third iteration it will be 2 + 1, on and on, until when it reaches a point where the value 10 has been reached, it means we'll come out of this loop. So let us see how we can actually code this in C++. So let me open Visual Studio, create a new project. I want to start from scratch. Let me give it a name. I'll call it iteration construct. Okay, let me just put that number in case there is one which already has that. add new item. Let's call it so here's our code window. As usual, I'll first type the header files, #include iostream. So I will declare the two variables I want to use. And so I want the computer screen to tell the user to enter the value of n. The cin object will enable the user to do that, to enter the value in the variable n. And so now, depending on what the user has entered in n, I'll say wow, and by the way, here we need to initialize it with 1. Okay, so I'll say wow, the value in I is less than or equals n. We want the following to be achieved. We'll say cout I, and then we want I to be incremented. So I++, like I said, is the same as, you know, incrementing the value of I plus 1 with each iteration. Okay, so yeah, this looks okay and it should be able to work. So let's see what happens. Enter the value of n. Okay, I'll enter 10 and see what we have. We have numbers from 1 up to 10. Okay, so that's it. That's how the while loop works. But another way of writing the while loop is using the what is known as the do while loop. And as an exercise, I would want you to answer these questions. What is the flowchart representation of this code, of the while loop? Are you able to write this in form of a flowchart? I'll be glad if you're able to do that. And I would want you to update the program so that it displays numbers from 20 to 30. Are you able to do that? Okay, so for the second question, try to see how you can do it. You can pause this video and see if you're able to do it. But once you've done that, then you can press on play and see the simple way of how to do that. Okay, so I want to show you that. I will go back to the code window, and all you do is initialize it with 10 if you want it to count from 10, you know, up to 30. So 30 is the value I will enter during run time. And so let's see what happens. So enter the value of n. I'll put 30 now, and so see what happens. It starts counting from 10, 11, 12 up to 30. So it's as simple as that. All right, now there is what is known as the do while loop. Okay, and and that is what I want us to look at now. When you look at the do-while loop, the do-while loop tests the condition at the end of the loop body as shown in the syntax below. Now with the do-while loop, we allow statements to be executed before, at least once before a condition is checked. Okay, so you have do, then you indicate what statements you want processed before the condition is checked, and then this will be the representation of the flowchart. You have a code block to be executed, and then that's when it moves on to the condition. And if a condition is true, then it loops around, the code is looped, meaning it gets executed with what has been updated to its value. So now that's a do-while loop. And are you able to use the do-while loop to display numbers from 1 to 10? Given the syntax I've given you, are you able to rewrite the while loop in this form? You can pause the video and see if you're able to do it. Okay, afterwards play it, then I'll show you how that is done. So let me open my code window again and see how we can modify the code to do that. So what I'll do is I'll simply change the position of this and put it there, and here I'll put do. But what you need to note here is that when the condition comes here, you need to close it with the semicolon. Previously we didn't need to do that. So let's see if this works. Here we are. So if I put 10, or rather 30, yeah, so it works just fine. So this is the do-while loop. But there is yet a more efficient way of writing looping constructs, and that is by using what is known as the for loop. I love using it because, well, it's quite very efficient. And what do we mean by that? With a for loop, you write the keyword for, and in these brackets, there are three things you write. First, you initialize the variable here, then you state the condition after the first semicolon. After the second semicolon, you write the incrementation. Let's see how that, how we can rewrite this using the for loop, and you'll see how many sentences we'll get rid of. Okay, so here, okay, everything here is okay, C in N, but I won't need all this. I'll simply say for. So now I don't need the initialization there. I'll do it right inside here. So for int I equals 1 semicolon, and while I is less than or equals 10, and then update or increment the value of n like that, and then in the braces I'll say cout I. Now that looks pretty simple, isn't it? It doesn't have so many program statements. Let's see if this will achieve the same thing. There we are. So those are the three programming constructs. And now the way you learn programming, you don't just watch videos like this. Try to work out some problems, how you can write. You need to be creative. Think of some problems which requires you to use iteration, okay? And that way you'll see your programming skills improving. And if you have any question or any comments, and if you feel this was very helpful, please type something in the comments. I'm doing all this to make your learning easier. So to encourage us to keep on making such videos, put something in the comments to tell us if these videos are helpful. Okay, see you in the next presentation.